let's just take it back all the way back to growing up in Ranui.
Yeah, nah. So grew up in Ranui, and we went to Birdwood Primary. We were got 9 siblings, so the younger half of us went to Birdwood, and the rest went to Swanson. But from there, all of us growing up in the same house, being league lovers. And and it was pretty much taboo in our family to ever think about playing rugby or trying rugby, because league was law. That was part of our lifestyle. Every weekend, come Friday night, go to sleep, Mum would go and watch the younger brother's game, come and watch me and my twins' game, watch Justin's game, the older brother's game, another older brother's game, and even when they were younger, they had the other older brothers' games to go to. So that was a family affair. It was a whole day where the whole day's gone out to league, watch league, come back, sleep all Sunday, have a feed or whatever, go back to bed in school. So every weekend was league. That's all it was, right up until now. So we started playing league when I think we were 5, and then from there it just rep teams popped up, and I started making the rep teams around 13, or it was late for rep teams, but the older brothers were making it younger. But believe it or not, there used to be a girl that used to make the Auckland team over me, and and that was the most embarrassing bit. But not to take anything away from her, and then finally got to a point where I had this big growth spurt. Not because I was big, I got better, but it gave me more confidence in what I could do and stuff like that. And I was pretty quick for a tall boy as well, so it helped me in my because I started off as second rower, through those grades. But then as soon as I moved to Australia, all they saw was a big poly boy. And said, nah, you're prop, that's it. And, I loved running lines. I love, ball playing and stuff like that, offloads and whatever. And you can still do that in the middle, but once you're in the middle, that's the engine room. Definitely an eye-opener going to Australia anyway.
Going back to playing when you were a kid, like how was the competition with you and your siblings? Were you guys competitive against each other and stuff?
Even now, so when we were kids, we were trying to emulate what our older brothers would do. It'll be big hits. It'll be how many tries we scored. It'll be how many bump offs we did, or who did the biggest bump off. But that's all league was to us when we were kids. League to us was whoever put somebody in hospital, whoever broke somebody's bones, or it does sound dangerous, but the fact that my family used to get joy out of hurting people was probably what took me as far as I did. In saying that, like I said, right up until now, you can guarantee as soon as I play for my brothers, at the end of the game, I'll say to them, "Oh, what happened? Did I beat you, or did you hit anybody? Did you score a try? Oh, I got 2. How many did you get?" But that competition between siblings, if I could transfer that into competition between, like, me being as young as I was, turn into my competition was my teammates playing at Melbourne or Gold Coast, it definitely would have taken me a long way. But all I, used to think was that if I play like that, they'll love the big hits, the coaches. They'll love the tries. But it's, like I said, eye-opener moving over to Australia, because, rugby league's more than big hits, and definitely more structure to it than anybody understands.
Yeah.
So anybody can talk about league, but as soon as you're thrown in with the professionally paid players, and you're playing rugby league, you're doing rugby league, you're learning rugby league with them, you're stuck with them. Even when on your days off, you have to come in and recover and think about rugby league. So, like, as soon as you get exposed to that stuff, man, it's a game changer. definitely different ways of playing in New Zealand growing up than it would have been if I'd grown up in Australia.
So, did you guys grow up in the same club?
Yeah, so I think all of us grew up through Glenora, the Glenora Bears. I don't even know how many years our family's been there, but one of the reasons why I came back to play was Dad said to me, why don't you go back and try and help Glenora win Fox? And I thought, oh yeah, because after I retired, I did get put a little bit of weight on and whatever. But sure enough, come back and we win the Fox, and I thought to myself that was I owed that to them for looking after me and my family coming up through the grades, and always being real tight knit with each other at Glenora, and it still is now. I still have heaps of respect for the club, but yeah, like I said, our whole family came up through it. If you hear our name at the club and whatever, somebody's bound to turn around and say, I know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with a few siblings and that, did you guys support speaking of Australia, did you guys support one in our team, all of you guys, or were you guys?
Nah, everybody was different. And I'll tell you something funny. I might have played league and I might have been decent at it, but I never watched league. I have interest playing, but I don't have interest watching.
Yeah.
I remember the coaches used to say, you need to watch the games. You need to watch who does your job and how you're going to emulate that, or what are you going to do better about it, or pick apart, critique us and see what you could do better. But to me, it was I won't watch. As soon as somebody shows me, or I'm doing it myself, and then even if they yell at me, did I even say do it like that? I'll do it again until I get it right. And I did do that because I never watched league. I might have got into Origin and maybe the Kiwis in Australia or games like that, but I never watched league. But I did support a team, and it was the Tigers, because I did watch a few games when I was younger of the Tigers, and I just liked them ever since. But other than that, I never watched league.
That's I've heard that before. Some other athlete, I think it was basketball. They said they never watched any. Oh, it was Stephen Adams.
Oh yeah,
Stephen Adams. He never watched any basketball.
Yeah.
When he was young and growing up,
Yeah.
like he never watched anything, so he didn't know anything about the NBA.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. I think same frame of mind.
Hard.
But was that because you had better things to do, or watching didn't interest you? Playing did?
If I did watch a game, it's only because the whole family was watching.
Yeah.
You only had one TV in the house, and it was in the lounge. And if they were watching the game, then obviously I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
But I'll watch a game, and it doesn't excite me. But if I'm playing, I'll pretend somebody's watching me, and then I want them to go, oh, make noise or whatever. I've even got friends playing in the NRL now. They get angry at me because I haven't watched their games, and I said to them, and I even when they debuted, but I said to them, and I go, I never watched league, and then they go, well, even to watch me, and I was like, no, I don't care.
So coming up through Glenora, when was the first year you got picked for a rep team?
I think I might have been 14.
Oh, yeah.
13 was the invitational Auckland team. So that was like if you didn't make Auckland, it was the team under. And then the following year, I made the under 14 Auckland Vulcans. And we ended up touring New South Wales. And we played Windsor Wolves, St. Mary's, and I think we were supposed to play the Penrith Development, but they didn't. And man, if anything, that under 14s team, from that team, there might have been about maybe 4 or 5 of us that went on, which is a lot from one group.
Yeah. Who were they?
One Buntia Foa, Offa Ogden. He's at Bulldogs now, I think. Who's the other ones? Was a big group too. Oh, gone blank. But a majority of us carried on playing SG ball and stuff like that. Moved to Australia.
Yep.
But so there's a few that carried on through to the NRL, which is good because and if I do ever walk past the TV and they're on the field, I'll watch for that bit maybe, and then I'll carry on walking to whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
But no, it's good to see the boys out there still.
So after that year playing for the Vulcans that year, what happened after that?
14, 15. I moved. I got contracted for the SG War Melbourne team. Hey, when I say contract, it's nothing big. It's just something to lure you over to, because you're only a kid, so it's something to lure you over there. Say that you're going to be playing SG ball and you start training on this date, and you get paid, little bit, whatever it was. And
so at that point you're still in high school now. So
Yep. So
they'll set you up for high school over there.
Yep. So over here, I had no chance of finishing school. Attendance and all of that, none of that stuff was there. But when I said to Mum, because we had league nationals for Kelston. And I didn't end up going to school after league nationals. And I told Mum, I said, don't worry, I'll finish school in Australia. And, that's just me buying me some time because I don't want to go to school. And then we ended up moving to Australia, but I had to repeat a year. But I actually finished school over there and graduated.
Cool.
And I think I was the first in my family to graduate school.
So what was the change? What made you concentrate at school over there? It seems like and you weren't concentrating over here in New Zealand. You go to Australia, concentrate, and you graduate.
Yeah.
So what was behind that?
I'll be honest, over there, I didn't have a chance of passing school over there because I think in my senior year, my final year, I think my teacher told me I had 48% attendance or something like that. My rate, I was too tired from training. We used to train before school, all the way out in the city, come back, get ready for school, go to school, and straight after school, go straight back out city to train. And it carried on right up until, NRL, until you're full-time. And, that life's tough, and I head off to anybody that does that still. But then I had a teacher, his name was Josh Miller, and he was one of those real genuine teachers that if he says you're going to pass school, you're going to pass school. And if I didn't turn up to school, he used to text me. He used to text me like, where the F are you? Why the hell aren't you at school? And whatever.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're allowed to swear.
Oh.
So he said you fucking...
Yeah. So he used to text me. He'll know that I only stayed home from school because I was tired from training. And he used to text my phone and he used to say, why the fuck aren't you at school?
Yeah.
Get the fuck up now, you lazy shit, and blah, 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 blah. And then I used to tell him, I go, nah, I've got a tummy bug, I can't come. Fucking weirdo, why are you texting a student for anyway? But, but he was like that. He was genuine. He wanted me to go to school. He wanted me to get something behind me, but he told me that he knew that I had league in my eyes. So I was just tunnel vision. I used to think, nah, it's all good. I got league. I don't need school. Kiss my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knew I had that attitude at the time.
The man.
Yeah. And so, he just clicked with all of the boys, white Australian man with all these coconut kids. He pushed all of us and we all passed school. And, like I said, even one morning he threatened to come and pick me up and tell me, if I come to your house, I'm going to fucking give you a hiding. And then I go, you come to my house, and he came and picked me up. And then I jumped in this car and I said to him, I said, I'm going to tell everybody that you touched me. But that's, he used to joke with us like that. And he's just like laughing, but he'd say, fuck up, you need to get to school, man. So I know you're tired and blah, 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 but you need to get to school. And so I didn't. But so I ended up, what was it? Maybe 3 months or something like that. He said to me that I'm not going to pass school. And then I was just like, oh, shit. And then he goes, I've gone around to all your teachers to grab all of your coursework, to grab all of my coursework, and I had to complete the whole year's coursework in that 3 months. But he locked me in his office to sit there and finish it all. But the dumb shit didn't know he had a couch in his office.
Oh, see.
I'll sleep for about 3 hours. I'll get up, and because I used to do media, I'll get up and watch a movie or something and say that I have to break down this scene or something like that. So for ages I didn't do anything. And then he snapped me out because he went and asked my media teacher, is he supposed to be watching da-da-da? And then he came back, he goes, you fucking sleeping on the couch, you fucking blah, 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 blah. Oh, fuck. And so I actually... But, hat off to him. I got it done. And when we were graduating, all of us boys, all the rugby boys, because he was our rugby coach as well, we all wanted to do something for him. So I think we ended up singing a song. And then I sang a song. And then I gave him, I think it was might have been my first 20s jersey, I think. It was one of the special jerseys anyway, but I ended up giving him a jersey. And I just said to him, I said, I'm grateful for what you've done for me and all of the boys. This is my present to you. And we were on the stage in front of everybody. And then he said, because he came up to me and I gave it to him and he started crying and he shook his hand and then I whispered in his ear, I was like, you fucking faggot. This is in front of everybody when we're graduating and he just laughed and he just gave me a little punch. But, like I said, he was one of those genuine teachers. He knew how to talk to us. He knew how to get us to do things and stuff like that. And till this day, all of us boys still talk about wanting to go back and have a drink with him. And, we weren't old enough then. And he didn't come to my house after graduation like we invited him. Come for a drink. I can't fucking drink with students, man. Yeah, whatever.
What's his name again?
Josh Miller.
Josh Miller. Shout out to Josh Miller.
Yeah,
Sounds like a really awesome guy.
He's the man.
Like, man, like you said, like Australian white guy, and he does all that for the polys at the school.
No, he's legit.
It's like, I think it's like doing that extra mile, going that extra mile. That I think you and the boys noticed, though.
But he gave time to the boys, He it wasn't blanket, for everybody. Like, you have to do this to everybody. It was, okay, you need to get this done. Okay, you're lacking over here. He used to go around to all of our teachers and ask for us individually, like, oh, what does he need to do to pass this class? What is he missing out on? He used to do that for us. And there were other teachers at their school as well, women and stuff like that. That were really good with us. Because we were a pretty hard bunch to to teach, but no, it was really good. I think that's what made it more enjoyable, is that knowing that your teachers were actually interested in you making something out of yourself too.
If you look back in New Zealand schools, when you were at school in New Zealand, like, was there any teacher similar to that? Because I couldn't think of anyone if I look back in my high school years. Like I know the Māori teacher we had would be sort of like, it's like that's interesting because to me, like, I feel like you have to throw a brown face,
exactly,
to the kids, so the kids can relate.
Yeah.
When this what's his name, Josh Miller, he's not a brown face.
Nah.
And all he did was try and put in extra effort to get through to the kids.
Yeah.
And you guys respected him back with what he did.
Yeah, he was.
So you don't need to be brown. You don't need to look like the same. Where I think like this, I just thought of that.
I can't think of any teacher, but there were teachers that were genuine, but didn't, like you say, didn't go that extra mile for. Like he came and dragged me out of bed. Like that's the extra mile. He went around to my teachers. That's an extra mile. But no, they're not, not bad mouthing all the other teachers, but Josh was one of those special ones. Yeah. It's
you're right. No disrespect to the teachers out there, but sometimes it can't be just a job.
No.
If you're a teacher, you can't treat it like a job. Like you have to be. You gotta help the kids, man.
Yeah, hard out.
and stuff like that. So no, so the school was a big league school.
In Melbourne,
Because most AFL. Like,
yeah, it's AFL. It's the AFL capital, but it in terms of over there, it was a league school. They had a rugby academy and stuff like that. But I enjoyed all of my friends that I made over there at that school. We still talk. The games we used to play, stuff like that, and all the trips we used to go on. But there was if you go anywhere in Melbourne, you're not going to see, league sticks or anything like that. You're going to see AFL sticks. You'll see AFL sticks anywhere, and they'll just chuck a crossbar in between of those AFL sticks, But over there, league wasn't big, but for what it was, you know what I mean?
I'm just thinking about, like, what was it, obviously your first experience with league training in high school? Was it how different was it to league training? What did you get a feel of? Like, I know in Australia they hard out. League training over there is more hard out than over here, right? So was that a little taste of, or was it sort of the same? Or
man, I still remember my first training in Australia for the SG ball team, and I just biggest rude awakening. It was like you over here, you go around, throw the ball around, you do a bit of running, but you have fun at the end. You play a game or something like that. And go over to Australia. If you're training for an hour and a half, you're training for an hour and 20 minutes plus a 10-minute break. You know what I mean? It's train. It's go there, get the job done, go home. It's not go around, fuck around, pass the ball or anything like that, or kick goals. But it was my first training. I think after that training, I went into the car and I was sitting there. I was like, holy crap. And and knowing at the same time that it's only going to get worse. It doesn't matter if I get fitter, the training is going to get harder. And even for fit players, it's still hard because you're expected to do the same training but at a higher level. So there's no such thing as easy trainings, even if you're fit. I was never fit. I don't know. I used to tell people this. I had a body of a Ferrari, but I had a Corolla engine. You know what I mean? That's what I used to say to them. Even though I was a prop, I was a skinny prop. I wasn't fat or anything like that. I wasn't over muscular or anything like that. I was fast. I knew how to use my size. But I did have a problem with fitness for a while. It's still have a problem with fitness.
So when you were sitting in the car thinking about that, like, were you thinking like, okay, this is what's gonna be. I'm gonna take it as a challenge. I'm gonna do it.
And it because it was still early then, it was excitement as well. It was like, oh man, like, I'm going to be doing this, and I was young as well. I was like, man, I'm going to get big. I'm going to, you're going to look like the NRL players and whatever. And, but, to the NRL players, you look at them, they're, real, fit and big and muscly and stuff. But if you had to swap shoes for a week, I'm sure, you'll see, I don't know, mentally and physically the changes that you yourself will go through. But like I said, it's not an easy feat doing 1 year in NRL. But coming up through the grades was, I think it was better for me because to move to Australia coming through the grades was to learn their style of footy. Hence the reason why Australia are better than us at league. It's because they grow up from a young age. We went to take the younger brother to training one time. They're teaching them how to wrestle. Just little stuff like that. They're teaching them how to wrestle when they're under, how old was he? Maybe 8. Teaching them full wrestling, double contact, all of that stuff. They're teaching them that at a young age. The New Zealanders, well, the ones that I grew up playing with anyway, it was all about who had the biggest forwards. If the forwards ran over the park, we'd win the game. If I smashed the biggest guy on the other team, we win the game. Over there, I think they broke league down they broke league down and made it that technical where it was like it should have been a class in school. Like they break down every single bit of league, why you should be doing this, why you should be doing this, why we do that, when you do this, this is what's going to happen, the reason why you have to get here, the reason why you have to do that. And man, and over those years coming up through the grades, it prepped me for when I landed that NRL contract, so that when by the time I got there, because it's the same system, same as what the NRL teach is the same as what they teach their juniors. It's the same type of structure. It is the same structure, I should say, sorry. It's the same structure from the younger grades all the way up to the NRL. There's no reason for the NRL to be having a certain structure and then the ones below are different, because they're going to be hopefully someday going to that team anyway. So picked that up in SG ball and then in 20s, and then as soon as I got to that level, I understood the game.
Because when you were hearing all that stuff, but the technical, you were saying that they break everything down. In your mind, when you were hearing all this, were you thinking, fuck, we got it all wrong?
Oh, hard out. Like I even when I was doing it, I was telling family, I was like, as soon as I find out, I'll be like, man, Melbourne Storm, they do this because of this, or they do that because of that, and then they're just like, hey, oh, mean, and but he'd say that person will say, oh, mean, but he still won't understand. But I want to tell people, even now, I try and say things that try to make sense with other people's games and to try and help them. Just because, to me, Melbourne Storm were 10 years ahead of any club. Not that I'd been at another club, but when I'd had moved on to the Titans, from there I didn't know that they were 10 years ahead of other clubs.
Yeah.
They had an answer for everything. They had a reason for everything, and they had a purpose to do everything. So everything that I did at Melbourne, man, was it tough. Everything that I did there, I tried to take to Gold Coast, and when I was implementing what I'd already learned there, I used to get pulled to the side and say, oh, Kurt, don't do that, because this is like, they're iffy, but they don't have the answer. Just don't do that, because it'll put pressure on your inside or something like that. And then I would turn around, I say to him, because of what I learned in Melbourne, I turn around and say, well, it shouldn't put pressure on him, because he should be pushing up with me, but they were all about making it easier for your teammate, where in Melbourne it was all about challenging your teammate. So that
different philosophies, eh?
Oh, hard out. So when we used to play in Melbourne and we used to break down the games in video sessions or something, I remember watching the games, and because everybody knew the game, we're sitting there, and the drop ball or knock on or whatever that happened over here, the coach would say something like, what happened here? We'll go all the way back to where it went wrong. We won't say, oh, he dropped the ball because he's butterfingers. We went all the way back to, oh, no, because we were supposed to hit here, then he didn't go there, then we fucked up over here, and that led. So it's not that it was his fuck up, it's what led to that fuck up.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
They were so, like I'm telling you, they had an answer, reason, and purpose for everything. And that's what I always tell everybody. And everybody used to ask me, because everybody used to ask me, oh, how was it at Melbourne? And I'd be like, oh, man.
You have no idea.
Hats off to the ones that stayed, like that are, like look at Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, and all of them, and those ones that stayed there through all of. But that's mental toughness. That's what they grew up knowing. You know what I mean?
Oh, so do you think like that kind of intensity of the breaking things down?
Yeah.
Would that put anybody off? Did that put you off?
Oh, it's not that it put me off. It was there was a lot of other reasons why I left Melbourne. But no, if anything, I was grateful to learn league like that. I'll go back to when we used to watch the video sessions. Even though I was a prop, because I knew what everybody's job was, in any play, anywhere on the field, I know what the wingers are supposed to be doing. I know what the fullback's supposed to be doing. I know what the halfback and the hooker is supposed to be doing. Because we all knew that, we could, it's not me just tell off the props. Oh no, because he didn't get to field position. Oh no, because he had a slow play the ball. I could say to the halfback, I was like, no, because you didn't make your kick. No, you didn't find grass. Or I could say to the winger, no, you didn't, blah, blah, blah. Because we all knew each other's roles. And, just because I couldn't play it, I understood his role. And I could tell him, I'd be like, no, you should have done this. Or why didn't you fucking do this?
I think I get it, eh? It's like you said, like if you have a play, the play is supposed to be doing this. But then for some reason, or rather, it ends up to be a different place on the field.
Yeah.
And you go back to that time where, hey, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The ball's not supposed to come this way.
Yeah.
That's...
Like, if we went to plan, he shouldn't have got the ball. It would have been like that.
Yeah.
He might have taken one off the ruck because we fucked up back there. And then the coach would just say, why the fuck did he take the ball when he was supposed to be in the fucking next play? So...
Is that why... Bellamy's up in the stands like screaming.
Exactly.
Screaming
because he will honestly he will rip anybody.
Yeah.
And it's not because he hates you. It's not because he thinks he's a bad man. It's because he knows you know what you should have done, and he'll make sure that if he yells at you, make it the last time. Because when you talk to him, you'll be talking normal and whatever. But as soon as we're out on the field, business. That's all it is, man. It's business. It's that if Cameron Munster dropped the ball, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck back there. We'll start back at the start. Anything that he knows that we done wrong, but we shortcutted or anything like that, and they hate shortcuts in Melbourne, he'll take it right back to the start.
Shit. That seems really intimidating.
Oh, man.
That's probably what you said. Like, you give it up to those guys to stay there.
Hard out.
The systems they've got. It's really intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of it's like when you're working as a chef in the kitchen and the head chef yells at you. It's like that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, if you're supposed to be cutting the carrot into circles, you don't fucking cut them into squares. Yeah. But no, it's you're real. They're real humble in Melbourne too. It's like straight business when we're training, and then after that, mates. Your mates in the changing room after you finish training.
Yeah.
But real professional environment. It was probably maybe 2 years.
So you were at Storm for 2 years, huh?
3 years. SG Ball 20s, and can't remember now if I did 1 or 2 pre-seasons with the NRL.
Sharks. So that 3 years of Storm. So the second year of the Storm, were you playing in their development?
Oh man, I played SG Ball, and I think 20s after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think 20s. One SG Ball year and then 2 20s years, and then finish off my 20s in the Gold Coast. But I think it's just so it was one NRL preseason. That's right. One NRL preseason. No, I was 17.
Yeah.
And man, I don't think I've ever done anything like that, and I don't think I will do anything like that again.
That first year?
Yeah, just in general, Melbourne's preseason, they're renowned for, being a little bit over the top, but I'll tell you what, it works, obviously. Everybody always says, why are Melbourne so good? And I'm nearly giving you all the answers.
So that must have been just that's now the culture now over there at Melbourne Storm. So I remember when they first came into the league, like when they first started, them and Cowboys, and the Warriors, or was
90? Was that 90 before I was born?
When the Warriors came, did the Cowboys come as well? And Melbourne Storm, I can't remember. Anyway, like, man, but they're one of the newest expansion teams, huh? And to be where they are now,
hard out.
It's I wonder what Did you guys? Did they give you like a induction in their history and their culture and their like philosophies and all that? Like
They do, like, you know, you got your code of conduct and all of that, but you know that normal stuff. But I think you know, your first couple of weeks there, when you get to meet everybody, they tell you who people are. The organization is they're pretty tight knit. When you're going around meeting people, you sort of already know their story. Then you learn more about them because you're there for a while. That you pick up their history while you're there. You walk past the trophy cabinets. You got books there. You got magazines. You got posters and murals and stuff like that. So it's all around them. They respect their past. But yeah, you pick it up along the way, I guess.
So those 2 years you were there, how did I forget how Melbourne Storm did they win those years?
They won the year that I moved over.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they had won the year that I moved over, and I think the following year. So the NRL, when I was at the NRL, we can't, even though we're not playing, we still train. We can't go on our holiday, 6-week holiday, until the NRL team finish. Doesn't mean we don't play. Doesn't matter that we don't play with them. Is that we're part of their team. We have to keep training. Somebody gets injured, 4 of them get injured, we're in, you know?
Yeah. So you guys on standby?
Yeah, that's what it was. There was obviously, back then, there's still a lot of people in front of me, but, you know, that's the case. But, yeah, I think they made top 4 the following year. And I think the year after that, they might have missed out on the top 4 or something like that. But they did win the year before the year that I got there.
Were the other guys from New Zealand with you?
Yeah. So we ended up a lot of boys from New Zealand. We went over actually. Man, there was a lot of us, but we'd all had played each other. But we knew we were going over to Melbourne, and we used to talk to each other when we were playing I think it was Auckland Pride back then. We were playing for Auckland Pride, and we'd travel to Wellington, Christchurch, and play all these teams and counties and all of that. And I used to see the boys, Nelson Nasofa Solomona, another one, Junior Kirisome. I knew that they were going to Melbourne, and I used to talk to them when we played them. But we all ended up moving over, and I think because we were from New Zealand and we were in Melbourne, we were all, you know, first time moving countries and stuff like that. We're all pretty close. But, you know, we're all now, like to this day, we're all in different parts of the world. Some have carried on in France, some have gone over to Super League. But I really enjoyed Melbourne when I was there.
How long did it take for you to get used to the Melbourne system? Like you had your first year there playing, and then second year came around. Were you confident that time?
Nah, not even confident. It took me ages.
Yeah.
I think the problem with me is that I knew my strengths. I was a real physical player and whatever. And me being a young dumb shit, then I think I thought that was enough to get by. You know what I mean? I thought being big and ugly would do me for a while. And I think that delayed my progression in rugby league. So
was it a case of you just playing to your strengths?
It was,
and your weaknesses you just don't worry about?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't worry about my weaknesses because I didn't think they were a big problem. But you know, the coach is telling me otherwise, obviously. But I used to think little improvement was all right, not fix. You know, I wouldn't fix the problem, but I would just tweak it a little bit. And it's not that I didn't want to; it's that it was harder.
Yeah.
You know, it was harder on the body to do what they wanted me to do, which is obviously what's expected of every semi or professional sportsman. But yeah, it definitely did delay my progress and thing. But I think it was my last year in Melbourne. I was confident with plays. I was confident with structure. I was confident with the jargon. When we're talking league, your field positions and all of that, understanding all of that stuff, it finally came to me. To a point where we had a new coach come in, and all of a sudden, he wanted me to go back to playing to my strengths. After me struggling mentally, how their structure worked or what my job was in that structure, a coach comes in and then he goes back, pushes me to the start and says, I want you to go back to playing to your strengths. I want you to hurt people. Your job is to... He used to say to me before games, Kurt, I know you're the youngest in the team, but I want you to go out there and be the big brother and look after your teammates. And he took a real interest in me. He came... I forgot what year it was now. Anyway, when he came in, we had a trial in Albury, 20s, and it was, I think it was 44 degrees that day, and so we only played 20 minutes, and then have a break. We just sit on the sidelines, pissing out with sweat, but we'll put the ice towels on our necks, and man, if you went out and played, I played maybe 10 minute spurts, man, I was gonna die. But he was happy with that game, and I was happy with that game too. Considering I'd had a pretty patchy SG ball season and stuff like that. I wasn't the best player, man. I was terrible. It took me too long to click and whatever. But like I was saying before, like I need to do it until I get it right. So I remember we had training back at Amy Park, and he said to me, and it was after training, he looked shitty, and he looked at me. He's a big man, and he goes, Kurt, I want to see your mum and dad tomorrow. And all I was thinking, I was like, what the fuck did I do? And I was thinking, because you're a kid, you think, oh fuck, I'm in trouble, they're gonna sack me, I'm not gonna play league anymore or whatever. And I was like, oh fuck, and I told him, and I go, oh, my dad drives, he's not gonna be available. He goes, yeah, tell your mum to come. And then I was all the way home, or before I got to mum and dad, I was just like, what the fuck did I do to piss them off? Trying to think, or what, are they going to let me go, or whatever. And then I went and told mum, I said, oh, mum, the coach wants a meeting with you tomorrow. And then she goes, why? What did you do? And I go, I don't know. And then she goes, all right. And so we went the day, and then walked in, and he walks in, and he goes, hey, Kurt. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, hey, Kurt, is this Mama Bernard? And then I go, yeah, this is Mum. Oh, well, come in here. So we went into the video room. I want to show you something, Mum. I want to show you something. Just, I've got a surprise for you. Sit down. So we sat down. And me and Mum were looking at each other. And my Mum doesn't swear, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Am I in trouble or not? And then he made a short highlight reel of me. He made a short highlight reel of me, and I was sitting there. I was just like, okay, that's not bad. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, well, that's not bad. Oh, that was a good run. I started thinking like that. I was like, what's he doing? And then at the end of it, Mum was like weirded out too. She was like looking at me. She goes, oh, now what? And then he walks up to Mum and he goes, what did you think of that? And then Mum goes, yeah, I thought it was good. He can do better. And then he started laughing and goes, yeah, he definitely can do better. But that, to me, that's what he expects from a forward. And I thought to myself, I was just like, where are we going with this? Why are you being weird? And then he ended up sitting down, and he ended up, I don't know if he'd spoken to somebody or somebody had let him know what I'd already been going through in SG ball, not understanding, really, really slow and stuff like that. He sat down and he said to me and Mum, he just said, I'm going to have a different approach with your son this year. I know that a lot of people, they've said some things and whatever, but I don't believe them and whatever. I just believe they never put time into working with what you need help on and whatever. And he said, this is how I'm going to work with your son this year, is that I'm going to show him everything he does well, and he's going to show me everything he doesn't do well. And so I sort of got it. Like, he wanted to, his approach was to not so much bark at me, you fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up. It was just like, fuck, look what you done. And then it turns into oh yeah, but I could do this. It's me putting accountability on myself, knowing if I tell him what I think I need to work on, then I know.
Yeah.
It's not that he told me and I didn't understand. It's on
coming
me.
from you.
Now it's on me because I know what I need to work on, and I did. And it was probably my best 20s year. The thing with me is that I was injury prone a lot. So the longest I'll play before having another injury might have been 10 games. So, my 20s career, I think I only played about maybe 25, late 20s. I only played that, maybe 30 games. But so after every game, he would do a video session, and I would hear him to certain players before it's my turn. He'll be in there on the laptop showing them, and I could hear, what the fuck is this? You fucking said to me, because he must have already put that couple in, and all I used to think was, fuck, I'm getting my eyes ripped, man. Fuck. Thinking about all the shit that I done wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, they play the ball slow. Oh, fuck, I didn't even get to field position. And as soon as I walk in, Cody, come sit down, mate. And I was like, oh, fuck, what's going on? Sit down. And then he goes, watch this. What do you think of that? And then I'd be like, oh, yeah. But because I was unsure, I would say, oh, yeah, I think I could have done this better. In that video that he's trying to show me that's a good video. And after that, he goes, shut up, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a fucking man possessed running with the ball, fucking not giving a shit who's standing in front of him, hurting people. You love that, eh, Kurt? And then I said, yep. And he goes, you fucking love hurting people, and that's why I love you. And he goes, now I'm going to show you a couple of these videos. Like, he just took a real positive approach. Like, what's it called? Positive reinforcement or something like that? Yeah. Whatever it's called, big words.
Would it be like also reverse psychology?
Oh, no. Fuck. And, it was, man, because I was mind fucked anyway, because I was just like, what the fuck's going on, man? I should be getting in trouble. Like, and, all the boys used to tease me, tell them that that's my dad, because, he would never pick on me. If I grew to have a soft spot for him, so that wherever when he told me to hurt somebody, I would hurt somebody. There was one day, there was a fight on the field, and I tried to run onto the field, and one of the coaches pulled me back, and then he goes, the manager, and he goes, sit down. No, fucking go on the field. And all you heard on the walkie-talkie was, fucking put Kurt on the field. And as soon as I heard that, fucking put Kurt on the field, I turned into Hulk, man. I was like, nobody can fuck with me, man. If he's got that much, fucking trust, puts that much trust in me, knowing that fucking Kurt's going to fuck somebody up, I better fuck somebody up. So I went onto the field, scored a try, fuck somebody up. But no, he was real good. I think by the end of the year, that year, I might have had about fucking 3 concussions or something like that, 4 concussions. And we had the end of year interview, and he said to me, he goes, Kurt, I backed you this whole year, and I 100% believe in you, and whatever you go on to do, and this and that. And then he goes, but fucking for a coconut, you got a soft head.
Well, what was his name, that coach?
Matt Adamson.
Do you know where he is now?
Last time I seen, he was in Sunshine Coast. But he played for New South Wales, Australia, Canberra. So he himself, he was a big rig, and he used to jump in some trainings, man, and we used to be like, "Oh, fuck, fucking bully."
I remember the Warriors and under 20s were always good. Were always good. Was it that time when they were good?
No, I was after that period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the Conrad Harrell and Ben Henry and Elijah Taylor and that. No, I was after that. But
was it a special game when every time you guys play against the Warriors?
well, yeah, I got a funny story for that. So every time we came back to play the Warriors, I was either injured or I didn't get picked. It used to tear me up if I didn't get picked. If I was injured, I understand. But there was finally one time I got to play, but it wasn't in New Zealand. I got to play the Warriors. My mates play against my friends, but it was televised, so that was even better. Because the funny thing is, it's just like when you play other teams, you don't know them. But when I played the Warriors, I know yous.
Yeah. So did you guys win that game?
Yeah.
And did you catch up with the boys afterwards?
Yeah, no, definitely. Even some of the coaching staff that were there when I was growing up, that were a part of the Warriors team. But it was like I said before, when we'd all split up and gone to different clubs around the world or in Australia or whatever, when we used to play each other, man, we could catch up for ages, or would plan, I'll sneak away from the hotel, come and pick me up, or stuff like that. But I've made heaps of friendships in rugby league, and a lot of bridges that are still there and stuff like that. But no, I think if anything, what I got from rugby league was the people that I met, not only through rugby league but at school as well. League being the reason why I came over. But yeah, through the people that I've met throughout that journey was probably the best thing I got from it.
Because I guess we're going to lead up to your decision to come back, to quit league and come back to New Zealand. But at the end of your second under 20s year at Melbourne Storm, how did you get picked to go up north to the Gold Coast?
Oh, yeah, that one's not a happy story, but that one, I think I was at work. I was shop fitting then, and I think I was an hour and a half away from home. It was quite a far drive, and I was at work, and because like I told you, I was injury prone. I got a call from my agent while I was working, and I was like, oh, what? And I answered the phone, and then he said to me, he goes, oh, Kurt, I got something I need to tell you. Can I talk to you? And I said, yep. And then he goes, oh, the recruitment of Melbourne Storm, they'd asked if I could find another club because I never had much game time because I was injured, or I wasn't consistent enough for them to invest in, and that's what I keep saying. That's why I keep saying, using the word business, is that they can't do me a favor by keeping me on because their friend, but I didn't have to leave. I'd already signed a 4-year contract, but they'd asked if I could look for another club, and then he said to me, he goes, but you've signed the contract. You don't have to fucking go, fuck them, or whatever. But I said to him, I was actually pretty hurt, and I said to him, and I go, I don't want to stay where I'm not wanted, and I said that's the last thing I want, and I said it's not even like he was saying to me, you should stay, and proved him wrong, and I said nah, like I've tried to prove myself. That's the thing, what extra do you want me to do? Like I'll probably just get injured again, and I kept thinking about it, and I thought about it for about 3 weeks. How old was I? I think I was 19.
Yeah, it's still young, eh?
Yeah. I think I was 19, and then so I'd let that marinate for a while, and I slowly understood throughout my time at Melbourne. Like I think if one thing they did get wrong with some players was when you get injured, you're sort of separate from the team because you train at different times. You can't do the training that they do. Those guys are out on the field. I'm in the gym by myself. You could be injured by yourself. You'll be by yourself for how many days till somebody else is injured, and you might have company, But because I was injured so much, a lot was going through my head. It felt like, oh man, I can't get injured. If I get injured, and I'm gonna lose my contract, or they're not gonna resign me, or whatever. But because it just used to happen, I used to put my bodies in positions that other people wouldn't, just to hurt somebody. And I still do it, and I still would do it. But that was the sad thing, is that I thought that they needed to work on more inclusion with the injured players rather than pretty much being separate. You don't even see the coaching staff. You don't see your friends. You're only stuck with the trainers. The trainer's the only friend until your things. And like I keep saying, because I was injured so many times, I was seeing the trainers more than I saw the boys.
You think that separation, was that just a Melbourne thing, or do all the clubs do the same thing?
All clubs do it. All clubs do it. But it's not that we were separated. It's just that you don't feel included. Like I was injured up in Melbourne, but because the injury group was so big there, I never had a problem, and we did used to still mingle with the team. You know what I mean? But I felt like we didn't. You're not a part of the team for as long as you're injured. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like to me anyway.
Okay, so you decided to... So how'd you get the Gold Coast deal?
So then he ended up looking, shopping around. And I think my agent asked a few clubs, and then the Titans was one of them. There were other clubs as well. But, fuck me if I can remember what the other ones were. But there was Matt Adamson, name had popped up again, and he'd let his friend know, Jamie, that was at the Gold Coast recruitment then, let him know. He asked him about me, and then he just said, grab him while you can. And then thanks to Matt again, I had another opportunity up in Queensland. So that's how I ended up there. I ended up telling Mum and Dad, and then I was going through some things as well.
Okay.
But by the time I ended up telling Mum and Dad, Dad was like, "No, we need to talk about this, whatever." But I told him I'd already signed the contract and I sent it, and then Dad goes, "Oh, you can't think about this overnight. You need to think." And I turned around and I said to him, "It's been 3 weeks." I knew 3 weeks ago, but I didn't tell them straight away, because it was like, oh shit, I let Mum and Dad down. They don't want me anymore. And then I think Dad walked in. And he goes, "Hey, we need to go and talk to your mum." And I go, "About what?" And he goes, "About you going to the Gold Coast." Sure. And I said to him, "She's not gonna listen." So I went outside, told Mum, and then I tried to lie at first. I tried to say, "Oh, nah, I want to go to the Gold Coast," and blah, blah. Mum was like, "No, stay here." And then I was just like, "Nah, I don't want to stay here anymore." Trying to make it that I don't want to stay here. And then Mum was just being as stubborn as she is. She just wouldn't, like, no, you're not going. You're staying here, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up telling her, "Well, they don't want me anymore." And, I had to say it, because if I lied, she would have carried on saying, "No, you're not going. No, you're not going. You stay here." And so I told her, she goes, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "They can't do that." I said, "I know they can't. I can stay if I want to, but I don't want to. I don't want to stay where I'm not wanted." And obviously Mum said the same thing that I said before. "Well, prove them wrong." "Nah, I don't want to stay." And then I told her, I said, "I have to go." And plus I did want to change the scenery because of, little things I was going through then.
Yeah.
And I thought it would have been good to, leave the nest for a little bit. We did have a crowded house, and everybody was doing their own thing. But there's, around my family, we drink, or they drink, they smoke, they eat whatever they want. And I couldn't, too much temptation around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I thought it'd be good if I got away, moved to Gold Coast by myself. And then because I already told Mum that I already sent it and whatever. So I ended up leaving. and then Mum came and took me up to Gold Coast, and then got up there. Mum stayed with me for a bit, settled me in, and then Mum left, and then I was at the Gold Coast. And really enjoyed the Gold Coast too.
Yeah. So, what was the first thing that was a big change? Like the biggest difference,
like
when you're at the Gold Coast, of the culture, and when you compare it to Melbourne, and then you come to Gold Coast, and how they do things, it's way different.
Yeah, it's even when I was going to training at Gold Coast, I was looking around because Gold Coast being a tourist attraction, and it's a really nice place. There's no shit place in Gold Coast. Even turning up to trainings and stuff, and I was thinking, I was just like, fuck, this is mean. And even the boys up there, man, loved them, man. They were some proper good people. And then
Was Conrad there at that time?
Connie came. Connie came the following year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Jared Hayden was there.
Yeah, Jared came
because he finished at NFL, I think. Then he went to Gold Coast after.
Yeah, did he come that year or the following year? Yeah, he came one of those years too. Just getting around the boys, the scenery, the training environment, it's really different because Melbourne's in a dense city, and the training area and stuff like that, Amy Park. Whereas, when we were training, because then they didn't have a club ground. They were training at Burleigh Bears. So Burleigh Bears was our home. We were training in a tin shed, with normal changing rooms like your average Joe uses. We were training on backfields, stuff like that. It just felt normal again, like league when you were playing back at home. But obviously 1,000 times harder. But that's what it felt like. That was the buzz that I was getting. It was tough there as well because the strength and conditioning coach that we had at Melbourne, he'd moved up to Gold Coast at the same time as me, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh fuck, here we go. Fuck, this guy loves to run. But his trainings were really similar, but same teachings, which was good. He's a real good trainer. He loves his profession that much. He breaks it down for us like we're learning as well. You know what I mean? Training, being around the boys, and me being independent as well. Bought my own car up there. I flatted out with Brian Kelly. We had an apartment in the hills. It was real nice. It was like a short-lived lifestyle that you should enjoy. And, if I needed my family or whatever, they'll come up, fly up the next day, fly up the same night.
Yeah.
So just to rewind a little bit, I was a little bit disheartened when Melbourne didn't want me anymore. But because I was already going through things and I was thinking over and over again, do I want to play league? It was just because...
did that finally come up?
So that came up around that time. And it was going through my head. I was thinking, I had my best mate. I used to talk to him all the time about it and whatever. But it's still hard to talk to somebody that doesn't quite understand that environment. It's not that it doesn't affect, because I get that a lot of people bring, the same knowledge but different experiences. But sometimes you want to hear it from somebody that's going through the same thing as you. But it was around then I was thinking about, do I want to play league? Why am I playing league? Do I see myself doing it for this long? Or not because the trainings were hard or anything like that or whatever, but I think just for me it was my own demons in my head, screaming. And
I think when you took that opportunity to go to Gold Coast, like I think for yourself being independent and just trying it different way.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Like see if this a different environment.
That's
I'm by myself. I'm independent.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play league.
Yeah,
It's a whole different thing, eh?
Yeah.
See how it goes.
It's exactly right. And I did want to see if it was just Melbourne, if it's not Melbourne the club, but me in Melbourne. I was, yeah, it was, yeah. I won't say exactly things that were going through my head, but it was like too much doubt filling my head. Like, I don't want to do this anymore, or there was one point I don't want to do it because I'm not going to make it, or I don't want to do it because I'm going to disappoint my family, or because if I don't, I'm injured all the time, they're going to sack me, or there was just heaps to it.
Yeah.
I can't recall every single thing, but what I was going through at the time was, enough for a 19-year-old boy, to bloody lose it. And I did, like you said, I was hoping that getting out of Melbourne, changing scenery, meeting new people was going to, get rid of that doubt, spark it back up again, have a crack. And it did for a bit. And then things kept on unfolding the same way. Injury and, other things going through my head. Started going, popping up again.
Well, you got picked for the Junior Kiwis that era.
Yeah, I think it was my first year at Gold Coast. It was, it's because it was my last 20s year. Yeah, it was pretty much after the Warriors game that we played. The first Warriors game that I finally got to play that I wasn't injured. He told me then, the coach, that he'll have me in his team and whatever, just to work on a couple of things. I said, oh, sweet. And we went to go play for the Junior Kiwis. Man, did I have a shit game. Oh, fuck. I wish my mate played instead of me. I was so pissed off that day. I was trying to overdo everything. In my head, I'm gonna fuck up Australia by myself. That's what was in my head. I was just trying to be He-Man. But you try too hard and you lose a lot more than you put in. And did I do? I dropped 2 balls. I think I didn't hit and stick on the try line because I tried to smash the hooker, but I lost my feet. And then he ended up spinning off, scoring a try. I was real fatigued that game. Fuck knows why. But I was real fatigued that game, and I wasn't pushing up in the line and just all that other stuff. But how no was I not happy with that game? And especially because my brothers and my dad flew up to watch the game in Sydney, and whatever, my friends came and watched, and cousins and whatever. And at the end of the game, I was like, oh fuck, here we go. And lucky they were already fucking hammered, drinking all the drinks and already drunk. It was Tonga and Samoa, and then I was looking for my twin, and I was looking for my friend as well. They were together. And I was looking, and somebody's coming down the stairs, and around all the Tongans, and somebody was screaming, Cafe! Cafe! And I had a look, I was fucking my twin, the drunk shit. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then they came down, and then he said to me, he goes, what a shit game. I was like, yeah, whatever, can. But yeah, still grateful for the opportunity, the experience, but definitely not one of my best games.
Damn. So was that another point that you were thinking
it was
about this game? It's not really a passion anymore. I mean, when did that start? When did you start to realize it wasn't a passion?
It was, like I said, it didn't take too long. Like, for a while, I thought I could have a crack again. But that's me trying to get rid of that attitude. But it was still there, because I kept on saying to myself, just get rid of it. But if I'm saying get rid of it, that means it's still there. And it got to the point where I was waiting for something to happen for me to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Like I remember doing hills at training. Fuck, I used to think to myself, slip and crack your head.
Shucks.
Slip and fucking, knock yourself out. Slip and break your elbow. Fucking try and roll my ankle or something. I used to think like that. sometimes in contact, I used to, think, should I put my head in front of his shoulder? Fucking who thinks like that? But I didn't want to say, I don't want to play league anymore. I would rather somebody done something to me and I can't play anymore. I'd rather take that than telling my family, disappointing my family, anybody, than saying, I quit. It's what I felt like I was saying, I quit and I wasted your time. That's what I felt like I was going to say to my mum and dad. So that's why I was thinking like that, I think. Even when I used to be running, I was like, fuck, I hope I have an asthma attack. I hope my fucking rib breaks or something. That's the extent of what my brain was going through, was like overworking, like coming up with shit. So I would rather have done that than tell my parents, I quit rugby league, I wasted your time. So that's what it was for me.
Did you find someone else in the same frame of mind as you?
There were a few others, different reasons again. When I say a few, they might have mentioned they don't want to play league anymore or something like that, but it wasn't a real in-depth conversation. It was just because even for me, like, I wouldn't have opened up fully to them. Like, I had mates where I tell them I don't give a shit about rugby league. Like, I started saying stuff like that, but they believed me because they knew I didn't give a shit about rugby league. And then you'd have other people say, but you're so good at it, blah, blah. And I said, I'm not going to do something that I don't enjoy doing just because I'm good at it. I said, being good at it and enjoying it's different. And I think at the time too, it was, I'm not saying that I was suicidal or anything. Around that time, there was a lot of suicidal in rugby league.
Because in the news, there was like a lot of, especially the poly.
Yeah, there was a lot. And, I think everybody will know who I'm talking about if I say the situation, but I won't say names just for, their sake. But it was one committed suicide because they didn't renew his contract. And that was like, to me, I would never go to the extent of killing myself, but it made me think, if I'm thinking at training, slip and crack your head, what does that progress on to if I carried on doing league? How do I know I wasn't going to end up, from crack your head to, fucking go and get a rope, Go and get a rope, it's easier. You just never know with those things. But I'm saying it again, I wasn't suicidal or anything. But who am I to say that they weren't at the stage that I was at one point? And I remember I was just like, while I was still at Gold Coast, I remember to myself, I was just like, man, just step back, have a rest, relook at your life. Do you want to carry on doing league? If you do, have a break, go back into it, and have another crack. And then I remember I started saying that to myself for a while. I was just like, just step down, have a break, step down, have a break. And I finally stepped down and had a break. There was a reason to it, but I won't go into it. But I ended up standing down. And I remember, talking to family and whatever. And, some said, don't make, hasty decisions, just, let it marinate and whatever. But, they never knew that I was thinking like that for a couple of years now. If I had told them every single time I had something going on in my head, they would understand. And that's what my best mate at the time told me. I remember I used to say all these things to him because, my family would say something and I'd get angry. My family would do something and I'd get angry. Again, I won't go into detail, but as soon as I tell my mate, he goes, well, how the fuck are they supposed to know if you don't tell them? But my family is not like that. We weren't really emotional family. The only emotion was aggression or hunger. You know what I mean? You only ate or you fought, so that it left like a gap for my family like it left a hole for my family. When I stood down, they were looking at me like, oh, why did he stand there? He never said anything before. Why? To them, it looks like I've just made a rash decision, exactly what they said. But, I did end up telling them, no, I've been thinking like this for a while. Said this, said that. And I just told them what I wanted to do. And I said, if I come step down, have a break, and if I want to carry on league, I'll go back and play league. No dramas. And I said, but if I don't want to play league, I'm not going to play league anymore. And some people said you regret it. Some people say that you only get this chance once or whatever. But to this day, what am I? Nearly 4 years next year of being out of rugby league, that professional environment, and I still don't regret it. When I came back for a holiday to New Zealand, I was only supposed to stay here for a bit, wind down and, just do what I want for a bit. Indulge, eat food, drink, smoke.
It's like you're free.
Oh, hard out. It's like I always tell people my teen years were stolen from me. I never got to be a teenager. I was pretty much being paid to work since I was 15. I was, contracted from then. I'm working. And I always tell everybody, and, I'll drink every weekend now. I can drink a lot and whatever. But I still say, you had your teen years. I didn't get mine. I was always worried about league. I was worried watching what I was eating. I was watching what I was drinking. I couldn't stay up too late because I had training at 4:30 in the morning. All those things like that. I used to say to my brother when we used to fight, you fucking get to eat and drink and do whatever you want. And fucking, I have to go and train and whatever and this and that. And, he couldn't see it then. But, we've drank since then. We're older now, and he fully understands, where I was coming from back then. And and I remember when I was in Melbourne, I was in a bad mind frame, and I said to my twin, he was working, I said, Kula, do you reckon you can pay for my flight to go to Sydney to see my best mate just to have a break? Just for the weekend. And he goes, oh, yeah, pay for it. But I didn't tell him what I was going through and that I really need this or I'm going to explode, man. And then come payday, I said, oh, cool, do you reckon you give me that money for the flight? I was like, I'm going to book my flight tomorrow. He goes, yeah. So I drove him to the ATM and he comes back and he jumps in the car. And then he gives me a fucking $50 note. And I was sitting there and I was like, fuck you, man. Like, and he's not knowing what kind of headspace I'm in. And I was like, fuck you. But and then I gave him his money and I said, nah, it's all good. And then he goes, well, I fucking give you money and you fucking throw it back in my face and blah, blah. But at the time, he says he wishes I told him, but it wasn't, I used to give all my money to my mum and dad. When it got to the point where I could afford to pay for the rent, I paid for the rent. I got a second job working during the day. And, I used to give that money to mum and dad too, but I'd save me money. Just because, I really admired my parents growing up. Like, we barely saw them because of work. Mum had 2 jobs, in the morning, one at night. Dad used to be gone from before the sun comes up to long after the sun goes down, and not many kids sit there and look at that and think to themselves like, where's my mum and dad, but even though they used to do that, mum used to take us all to our games still, working 2 jobs. She used to work in the weekends as well. And then dad would come when he could. It was one of those families. But and then I grew to admire mum and dad because regardless if they were sick or it was bloody raining outside, like people my age now, if it's raining outside, I'll just turn, have a look. Nah, not going into work today. Parents didn't even know what that was. You know, it's just old school. You have to go to work. You have to go to work to pay your bills. You have to go to work to feed your kids. You have to go to work, you know. And all that money, you know, they still found money to, you know, put food on the table and pay for the mortgage and buy us rugby boots, buy our school uniforms and all of that. And I did admire that from a young age. And so when I did get that league contract, I really wanted to pay mum and dad back. And that's why it led to, if I stood down, I didn't want to say to my mum and dad, I quit. I wasted your time. So that's what all of that led up to. They didn't put, like I'll say this, they didn't put that pressure on me though. It's the pressure I put on myself. It was me saying, I'm going to give you this. Like, I want to give you this. I love you so much, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to have whatever. But if I give up that lifestyle, I can't give that. You know what I mean? It was like, that's what was fucking with my mind. It was disappointing mum and dad and not giving them what I wanted to give them. And
that reminds me of the coach, how he turned it around. Like he made you think of what your weaknesses are,
no.
see what's wrong. You know, it's putting the it's putting the onus on you to say what you need to improve on. And I think putting the onus on you, you forget about your parents. I don't want to disappoint them. And I need to give back to what you gave me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, you know, like, yeah, it was such a dark time with, you know, there were like a couple of suicides, that came on the news and stuff, especially with the poly kids.
Yeah.
And I think, like, do you think, like, if, because you say your parents didn't put pressure on you, maybe their over the top was having the pressure from the parents.
And I have seen a few of that where it is you know, pretty cutthroat between parents and kids with you know, if you don't play league or make it in league, fuck off. You know what I mean? And I had seen that growing up with some people. But you know, I think with those suicides, like, to be I did take it personally, because it's something that can happen to the guy standing next to you or sitting next to you in the change room, you know? And it could happen to me and I wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know depression, you know, if it was standing in front of me. But to feel like you didn't if it was that, I'm saying, like, if it was letting your parents down or whatever, that the fact that you're thinking like that and trying to find an alternative to not letting them down, that's the saddest thing. That's the saddest thing, is that if that is their motive of, you know, doing what they did, the saddest thing is that they thought that was better than letting their parents down.
I think the other thing that hits home for me is how you said you never had 10 years of teenage.
Oh, fuck.
You know, and I'm thinking, man, is there a solution? Is this what's happening to the kids? Go over, they get scouted when they're young from New Zealand, go over there, and they're chucked into the system. They're just young kids. They don't know. They haven't lived. They don't have. They don't work. They haven't lived, and they're chucked into like an adult world straight away.
Yeah.
And you know, how did they deal with? Like, is there any help like that? I know. Nigel Vangana has a thing for Polynesian kids to help in their role. Like, I think he was heading up. Did you ever talk to him about? Did you ever go to?
Nah, I never knew anything about that then. But I think the thing with me was I'm lucky my parents stayed by me the whole way. You know, mum being the accountant for the whole family, access to everybody's cards. But it was it's when you go over young, they'll put you through school. They'll you know, pay for your tertiary and stuff like that. Even find you jobs and stuff like that. While you're while I was in Melbourne, they found me a job. They paid for my tertiary and stuff like that. So they include that into your contract. You know, tertiary education and stuff like that. You know, some contracts offer jobs if you're old enough and out of school. But even in before you retire in rugby league, you know, if you did do a long leg, that they make sure that you're prepared for the world after. Because in the world of rugby league, everything gets done for you. If I needed a house, I'm talking to somebody in the club that will go and do it for me, or that will go find that person for me, or that will hook up, you know, what I want done. Or, and that's the reality, is that your job is rugby league for, 10 years average. Your job's rugby league for 10 years. All your bills go from your account, pay your mortgage, pay whatever. You don't have to do anything. As soon as people leave, like, what are you going to go do? Pass a ball to a concreter and fucking ask him for a job? Yeah, here's my experience. But they prep you for that, for when you finish league. So believe it or not, some people go and do bricklaying. Some people go carry on working within the NRL. There's heaps of... they do look after you, in a sense. In a sense, from a kid's perspective, they do look after you. They make sure you don't go without, but it's up to, I think, you at a certain age, and obviously that'll be manhood, 18. As soon as you get to that age, you know, if you get money, that's up to you. But if you have those things like accessible from Ngāti Wangana, you know, but it was never offered to me, but it's like, you know, if you're making a certain amount of money, you should do something with it. You should put it away. You should. Yeah. Definitely advice out there for that, though.
So, the moment when you decided you're going to quit, was it when you realized you were going to do it? Like, what was going through your head, the process? Like, what were you thinking? Fuck, yeah. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Man, so the day that it happened, again, I don't want to detail the circumstances, but the day that it happened, the day before that, I started getting real aggressive towards some players that I didn't like, and I even offered one of them out to a fight. But yeah, hard. But that was the attitude I was getting from not giving a shit, from not wanting to play league, from not wanting to be there. I wanted an excuse. Like I said, if I had a fight and I could tell people, or I could go and tell mum and dad, I got sacked because you know, who knows, I would have got a hiding maybe, because I got a hiding from But that was the kind of headspace I was in. Like, I wanted something to happen. But I remember when I was thinking about it the night before training, I was like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna do it. I went into training, and then the coach hadn't told me that I'd been suspended for 7 weeks, but I was prepping that whole week. I was just like, nah, this is it. I'm gonna have a crack, because my auntie had passed away, and I'd gone through a lot of drama with the coach about that. But after she passed away, I was like, I'm going to do it for her. I'm going to have a proper crack. This will be my, to see if I've got it in me or not. This will be it. And I trained hard as I ever fucking trained before, man. The whole week after that game. And one of the coaches come out and cracked a joke, goes, Kurt, looks like you're going to be in so you do fitness on the game days because you're suspended. So it looks like you're going to be running on the sidelines for 7 weeks. And he was laughing. And then I go, huh? And he goes, oh, you haven't heard? And I said, no, what? He goes, oh, you better go and talk to the coach. And I went up and I said to him, and I go, am I suspended for 7 weeks? And then he said to me, so what the fuck did you expect? Because a prop had run a short ball and I snapped him in half, but he didn't get the ball. He got dummied. But, because he came so close, and when he dummied it, I thought he was getting the ball, so I snapped him in half. And I ended up getting put on report And then, so that led to that 7 weeks. And he goes, oh, well, what the fuck did you expect? And I just turned around, I was like, fuck, here it is. I'm out. Fucking right from there. Yeah. Because to me, when he said that, what the fuck did you expect? It meant that he didn't have my back. We didn't even go to judiciary. We were supposed to go to judiciary to fight the charge. He didn't consult me if I wanted to fight the charge or do an early guilty plea. But that's on top of everything that I was already going through then. Stuff that I'd already gone through with him before. Like I said, I was looking for any excuse. As soon as he said that, fuck, I'm gone. There you go. That's it. Walked into the change room, didn't fucking say anything. Packed my locker. I was like, fuck yeah. Back in my bed. I'm fucking done. And, I took all my shit and I fucked off home. And I went home and the uncle I was staying with went and told him, I'm done. And then after that, he goes, what the fuck you mean you're done? Like, nah, finished. I'm not doing it anymore. Spoke to the agent. He said that he wasn't that I shouldn't do this and blah blah blah. But to me, I'm just like,
do it that way.
But he's like, oh no, I think you should stay there. It's a really, that work keeps coming up. It's such a rash decision and whatever. But again, I hadn't spoken to anybody. It's been going on for a while, and but all the advice I got, I never gave a shit because to me it was just like, nah. This is me. This is what I want to do for now. And, I don't care how old I am or whatever. If I want to do this now, I'll do it now. And then I had so many people saying, don't leave, don't do this, don't do it. And I was just like, nah, fuck, whatever, I done it. So I left. And then, everything was confirmed. I went back in and I ended up finishing with the Titans. Just thanking them for the opportunity, I'm done, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, blah, blah, blah. He started saying shit that was pissing me off, but I won't say it, but he started fucking me off. I will say it. He was like, he happened to drop, when I'd finished, he happened to drop the, Kurt, you were one of my projects I was working on. I was like, fuck you, cunt. Fucking kiss my ass, man. And then, I was like, whatever, see you later. And like I said, to this day, I don't regret leaving rugby league. And to be honest, I've never been happier. It was like I was meant to leave then, If I'd stayed in any longer, you never know. And so I was supposed to come back for a holiday. And then I ended up playing for Glenora, and we ended up winning the Fox. Then that was the first time in 19 years Glenora had won.
When you came back to Glenora and played, it must have been cool to just play for fun.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's club, but for you, no pressure, no pressure, but good to be back at the club and just playing.
Yeah, it was.
Grassroots.
It's exactly what it was. Because then, I still had friends here.
Yeah.
I still had friends that I grew up with that were playing at Glenora. I had cousins playing for Glenora. And I enjoyed it so much that year. But, from then it started turning into now I want to drop league completely, type of thing. And, I got the same thing over here. Like, come play. Oh, why don't you play, man? It's easy. And it's not that it's easy. It's not that, thing is that, like in my head, I don't want to play league. I don't want to do it. And I don't care if you think I'm good at it or whatever. I don't want to play league. To be honest, any sport, 'cause I got pretty heavy then too. And I was just, over it. But coming back, playing with the boys, even going to the back of the club and having a drink in the changing rooms. Yeah, I didn't do that shit. I never got to have a drink with the, my mates and stuff like that growing up. I got to drink with certain friends, but, maybe once a month or something like that. I had the weekend off or something like that. But coming back, I was drinking every weekend, without fail. No, I'm still doing it now, but I'm less than what I was before. But I felt like I had catching up to do.
Yeah.
fuck my mates. They had their teen years. I was just like, fuck yous, but come and drink with me anyway.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. Catching up with friends, and I ended up finding my partner. Now I've proposed to her. She's my fiance. We just moved.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And we ended up, just moving into our own place yesterday, like I said. So like, if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have met my partner. I wouldn't be engaged. I wouldn't have my own house, and we're renting, but my own space. Just where I'm at now is a lot healthier than where I was.
Yeah.
Back then.
That's good to hear, man. No, that's very good to hear. I don't know about being healthy because your new job.
Oh shit!
But that's another journey you're on right now.
Yeah.
Corrections officer, man.
Yeah.
So, well, okay, I kind of get it. Big hit on the field. Maybe you want to come, and you still want to hit. You still want to hit people.
Still want that physicality. Still want to hurt some. Nah. But nah.
Where did that come from?
Oh,
all the jobs you can do.
I hadn't worked for about a year. Like to me, it was my relax year. It was Mrs. could pay for everything here, and she did. But after that, I was looking at a few jobs, and it just was like, nah, fuck this, nah, shit. And then
you're not a builder? Don't want to build?
Yeah, I'm actually interested in building now.
Oh, okay.
Applied for one of them, recently.
I just threw it out there because a lot of leagues on builders.
Yeah, hard out. And even the reason why I'm going is because my mates and cousin, they plays league. But I think I was talking to my older brother, and his friend's partner works at the corrections. And he kept on bringing it up, and I kept on thinking about it, and then I started looking it up, and he started saying, "Oh, you should apply." And for ages I didn't, but I was just eyeing it up. I was like, "Oh fuck, should I?" Because you never know what type of job it is until you do it. And I was just like, "Fuck, do I want to work with prisoners, or am I cut out for it, or because if you need to have a certain personality and certain mindset to work with, what's not bad words, the most difficult people in New Zealand, And I thought, and I was like, yeah, I reckon I could do it. So I applied, and it was 14 weeks of training, and then and to be honest, to this day, because of COVID, I still haven't graduated, but I'm signed off.
Oh, really?
So my graduation is I think next the week after Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I still haven't graduated, but I got my stripe and all of that. And, it's hats off to anybody that works in any job that has to work with difficult people, because facing that stuff day in, day out, and then still going back home to your families with a smile on your face, that's a challenge. That'll be the most difficult bit for somebody to teach themselves when working in a place like this. I could have the worst day in the world at this job, and nobody would know about it, because it's inside the prison walls. It stays there. Or it should stay there anyway. But I think the challenges in the job are not only the people that you're caring for, but it's the people that you work with as well. Because you're in such a challenging environment, high risk environment. A lot of people can easily be, what's the word, triggered. I might go out onto the floor, get abused from the prisoners, I might come in and accidentally say something to, my workmate. Might take it out on them or something like that. Or vice versa, somebody could, walk in and randomly have a go at me or something like that. But like I said, everybody is trying to find that balance of, okay, that attitude should stay there. That mindset should stay there. My anger, my anxiety should stay there in the housing. When I go out and see the prisoners or whatever, I'm gonna be a wall, and they're gonna see, all they're gonna get from me is instructions, and I'm not talking to them like some people get it wrong when they go in and they talk to prisoners. They talk to them like they're trash. But you got to try everything you can to suss out what kind of mood they are. For me, it's walking in the first thing in the morning, distributing breakfast. As soon as you get to the door, they're gonna wake up. First thing they do when they wake up is they're gonna you say to them good morning, or you address them by their name. Good morning, blah blah blah. Good morning, blah blah blah. How did you sleep last night? And it's your conversation with them, and their reply is how the rest of your day is going to be. So if I go in and good morning, Schuster. How was your night last night? Get fucked, cunt. Fuck you. He had a bad night. He's in a shitty mood. Work on it. I've got the rest of the day to work on it. Or he's going to be in that mood for the rest of the day. If I walked in and then I say, come and get your fucking breakfast. Well, fuck you, cunt. He's going to come and attack me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's the way you say things. It's the way you talk to them. It's the way you handle certain situations. Because he said, fuck you, I'm going to, doesn't mean that I can change his attitude toward me for that morning just because I was the first thing that he saw. You got to remember, they sleep by themselves. They only get a certain amount of time out of the day. They don't get to see their families. So if they wake up and you come in with a shitty attitude, well, fucking, why am I coming in shitty to somebody who's worse off than me, But in saying that, there's a lot of good prisoners as well. Like you're real, I wouldn't say connect with them, but you're real similar. There's a saying in the corrections, the only difference between us and them is that we haven't been caught. So, we're all the same people, just different situations call for, different circumstances. But they, there's some funny characters, inside those prison walls, man. Like, you could crack up laughing at one of them, or you could turn around and another one could punch you in the face, That's how different it is, how much you got to be on your toes.
Is this what you like about the job? It sounds like just learning, or just probably like the psychology of it all.
Yeah,
like getting
hard out,
like knowing how these guys are in their situation, and just understanding sort of like their mindset, the whole process of why.
Yeah. And that's and they do that in the Department of Corrections, is finding the why and helping fix that. But some people don't want to be helped. Some people don't need help. Some people can do it on their own. Some people can't. I'm not gonna lie. I've had hard days at work where I've acted unprofessionally and said things that I shouldn't have said, but like I said, that's me finding that balance of who am I as a person and who are they as a person. Why am I leaning over towards what kind of person they are, and I should be like that, or they need to be spoken to like that because that's all they know. You just don't know with that kind of stuff. But it's more safer to smile and wave. Just smile to all of them. But some of them don't even need a reason to crack you in the face.
Yeah. When you're in there, the nationalities in there, like predominantly Polynesian? Or white?
Yep. And even more specifically, predominantly Māori. Yeah. Māori and Polynesian. But it is sad. But that's something that the people themselves have to work on. Why is Māori, a big portion of that certain percentage that are in amongst the prison population, and I think they're like not turning into a scientist or anything, but they really need to find that stuff out for themselves. If you tell a Māori prisoner, to why you do this, they can just turn around and say, you wouldn't fucking understand, because I'm not Māori. But the Department of Corrections, they try and educate themselves on answering those questions, on understanding the why and stuff like that. But they do try. There's a lot of framework involved to help lower those numbers, or even reoffending in general. But man, that, like I keep saying, that is a hard one. You just got so many different people, so many different families, different gangs, different personalities, and you can't, cover everybody with the same answer and say this is what you need to do. It's not one of those things.
I guess for me, like the why would be my one. Like if I was in your shoes and I was doing your job, I'll be thinking why and how do we change this?
Yeah.
How do we change this? It is sad. And I think about, is it poverty? Is the struggle so real that our people have to turn to crime or do something that they will regret? I don't know what the answer is.
Oh, even for some people it could be, money or a job or a house and a car. All those things are so far out of reach. They got to get it somehow. Oh, you know what? I'll steal one. You know what? I'll sell drugs. I can get money. I don't. If that's the only things that are easy for them to do, and they're getting declined jobs, they're not getting any finance because they're in debt or something like that. It could be anything. But I just for Māori to progress as a race, as a culture, that really needs to be fixed. And that is trying to be fixed at the moment within the Department of Corrections. But for me, like, I only understand a little bit of it because I work in a remand, and we don't have. I don't see the same prisoners every day for how many years, and you can't really influence a prisoner in such a short amount of time. You can, I take that back. You can. But you have a higher chance of doing that in a sentence prison, because you build a relationship with those prisoners because you're there doing everything for them every day for their whole sentence, and a lot of conversations can pop up in that amount of time, rather than being in a busy environment at Mount Eden, and not really having time for everybody.
So it's quite interesting that dynamic of a remand prison. Like you said, that these guys are waiting for their court case trial or waiting to be sentenced. So we had a chat about this before we came on the mics, but it was like interesting because I didn't really think about it. Like these are people that they will have no respect for where they are.
Yeah.
So you see all the tagging, you see all the vandalism and blah blah blah. And they act up, because that they don't know what's going to happen.
Hard up.
Like they're so stressed out, about what's going to happen with the court case or whatever it is. And then when you just mentioned if you go to a sentencing prison, like they're more, because they're there, they already know what they're going to do. Then they already know what they're going to do, so they're going to look after themselves. They're going to look after their stuff. So, and it's interesting how there's a certain different. I guess different there's a different type of correction officer for a remand prison.
Yeah.
Because it's all about safety, right? You gotta.
And and that's what we're taught: safety first and foremost, at all times. Being in an unpredictable and high risk environment, like 24/7. But that's and that's the challenge that comes with the job too. You got to understand certain types of people. You got to have patience with certain types of people. And I'm still learning. I'm not gonna lie, I've lost the plot sometimes and stuff like that. But I've learned from it. Definitely, big influences are the people that I work with. I can learn off them. I see how they handle certain situations, so that if I ever come across it, I know how to address that situation. And man, you could have 50 different situations throughout the day, but all of them could be different. But that's why you gotta really understand your job. Is that you're not here to open and close the door for them. You're not here to throw food in their cell. You're actually you're there to start that journey of them not reoffending. And it starts from when you open their door, like I said to you before, and it's good morning. It starts from there.
Hey Kurt, do you ever think back about your time playing league in Australia and what you went through with your own mental health and where you are now at the job you're at and your mental health at this job? Is there do you think if there's a similarity, or this is a sort of like this is one you can really handle?
Yeah,
and sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I have done that. And I have. But I did think because I did think about it. I was like, shit. What was worse? I was like, oh fuck, should I play league again? Or but no, I did think about it. But I thought, I was like, this can happen at any job though. I could have a bad day at any job. I could, be stressed out at any job. That's why I remember saying to my friends one time, like they asked me, what was harder? My previous jobs, was this harder than that, or was this harder than that? Or my job's harder than, because we were having this argument, oh no, my job's harder than yours, or blah, blah, blah. And then I said, no, to be honest, I don't think I would ever say to somebody, my job's harder than yours, because I can't say that. I don't know what that person's going through. I don't know how their job works. I don't know what's going on through that person's mind. Just because it's not physically, showing, from personal experience, a lot more than your body shows can be going on in your head. And that stress, like I keep saying, stress can happen anywhere, and you can't compare stress, man, because you're just not in the same position at the same time. But that's what I mean. Don't tell me how hard my job is, and I won't tell you how hard your job is. So that was my thinking to myself. I was just like, nah, it's going to be like this anywhere I go. I'm going to come across a dickhead here. I'm going to come across a situation I can't handle here. But if you don't go through it, you don't know. You never learn. You won't find the answer to it. But yeah, I did think about it. It's funny you asked, but nah. It's another challenge. That's what it is. Yeah. Another challenge. Yeah.
No, that's great, man. Hey, Kurt, man. Oh, one last question. Are you in New South or Queensland?
Queensland, baby.
Oh.
Man, I'll tell you one quick story. I was sleeping. I couldn't watch the game because I worked the next morning, but I heard my brother and celebrating. He's in New South Wales, and I heard them celebrating every time something New South Wales and something. I was like, oh fuck, here we go, fuck, and I kept on hearing them, and then it went silent, and then I was like, fuck, we won. Because he didn't sound, I heard no celebrating, I heard no, fuck yeah. And then as soon as I didn't hear anything and it went quiet, they went to bed, I was like, holy shit, we fucking won. Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to end this one.
Yeah.
Great, bro. Man, awesome story, man. And good luck for the future, man. And look, it's cool you got your own space. Onwards and upwards, I guess.
Grateful for everything that's come my way so far, and thanks for having me on here.
No worries, brother.
Thanks, bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.